Imagine for a moment getting one new qualified patient a day to come into your practice. Imagine for a moment that you are losing 5 qualified patients searching for treatments that you do because they can't find you on the internet, or when they do find you, they didn't see something that caused them to take an action, to call you, or fill out a form to email you. You see, when you are a patient looking for someone to solve your health problem, you're searching and searching and searching, you're looking through lots of websites. So that search looks like this: 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have 8 seconds to make a first impression when someone is searching the internet looking for a provider just like you to solve their health problems. Will Rogers once said, "You never get a second chance to make a first impression." That 8 seconds you have when someone is searching for a provider to solve their chronic health problems is your first interaction with that prospective patient. So if that's happening to you, or you don't even realize that's happening to you, here's a couple of key tools I'd like for you to write down to help you find those patients that are searching for treatments that you do that you'd like to help. The first you have to have is a responsive website. Google tells us that 68% of all searches are done with a smartphone or a tablet. If your website is not responsive, which means that if I'm looking up your practice on a phone or a tablet versus a desktop, if it doesn't configure to that instrument, I'm going to bounce and go to the next practitioner. It has to be functional, it has to be aesthetically pleasing, and there has to be a call to action. Because if I'm a prospective patient, the one question I need to have answered when I'm looking at your website is, why should I choose you? That 8 seconds, if they find something they like, will buy you another 30 seconds in their search on your website. The next thing you have to have in place is ability for somebody to find your website in the first place. So you need a search engine optimization plan that is ongoing and structured to help people who are searching those keywords to help find your website. The next thing you need is a very concise and orchestrated email campaign to reach your patient population you communicate with. Most of you say, I get my patients mostly from word of mouth. Well, that's the next best thing to utilize your current patient population to email and communicate with them that way. And the last tool you need is a social media program. It's an outreach to give them updates on treatments, to give them updates on opinions, to give them updates on great articles they should be reading about. And that is an engagement tool that is better than word of mouth. Why? Because if I like an article about chronic obesity in adults, I might have a cousin, a nephew, an aunt, a brother, whoever that suffers from that, and I'll pass it on. That kind of pass-along communication is the effectiveness of social media. It doesn't cost you anything to have that ripple effect. Every person that walks into your practice who has a Facebook account has 167 people on average that follow them on Facebook. So if you just send out one missive every week to your patient population and they see that on your Facebook, imagine how many people you touch. So to rig the game in your favor, to find those qualified patients online, don't try this at home. Don't do it yourself. Find a company to help you do this. The analogy I give doctors all the time when I talk at all the trade shows is that you're at Home Depot, you want to have a new deck. You buy the lumber, you buy the tools, you get everything ready, you come back to your backyard, and you go, now what do I do? Right? or you hire the guy that builds decks all the time and you have him do it. So here's the question to ask all of you. What category do you want to be in? Do you want to be the practice that's losing 5 patients a day because they can't find your website, or because when they find your website there's nothing that compels them to pick up the phone and call you? Or do you want to be the practice that gets 1 new qualified patient a day? Because I can tell you that an opportunity to reach a qualified patient is never missed. It's simply taken by the next practice down the street who is on the internet, who is effectively communicating with those searching patients, and who does make the decision to call that practitioner and go in and see them. Thank you.